In the generative coaching program, we often start by saying, there's sort of these three types of change, right? And you start with the old versions. When NLP first started, you had basically any kind of personal change was about psychotherapy, which was what you call remedial change, and it's oriented towards the past. Remedial means something is broken, you're going to remedy it, you're going to fix it. And then in the 80s, you started to get more what we would call traditional coaching. So rather than focus just on the problem, you were focusing on your present state and, where what we would call it incremental change. Okay, what's your present state? What do you want to improve? What do you want to improve about what's happening now? Well, then we say, then generative change is about the future. And we begin with, what is it that you most want to create in your life?
Yeah.
Now, in that process, we would say that also, as you think about what you most want to create in your life, that also includes your past and your present.
Yes.
So even though you start with a future orientation, you're eventually addressing these different things. We like to say, remedial change is like pulling the weeds, right?
Right.
And then you've got incremental change, which is sort of, getting the soil ready. And then you've got generative change, which is, planting the seeds so that something new is growing. So the mid 1990s, when I started reconnecting with Stephen Gilligan, Dr. Stephen Gilligan, who was there 50 years ago in the earliest days of NLP, when NLP was just getting started in Santa Cruz. And we were both students at the University of California at Santa Cruz, and we were very involved in the so-called meta groups with Bandler and Grinder. We started, every year doing several programs together on different topics. And, at first it was kind of the old story of I was doing the NLP sort of more left brain thing. He was doing the Erickson more right brain thing. And I was more conscious, he was more unconscious. But then as we started doing this, work together, these things naturally begin to blend, and a little bit like hydrogen and oxygen, right? Something new starts to come out, this water. And we were both very interested in this idea of generativity. And generativity means, basically means creativity of a certain kind. But it means, creativity where you're actually creating something new that has not existed before. So you're dealing with, new situations, things emerging that are in some ways unpredictable. And so you have to be able to be, attentive, flexible, etc. It was actually just about 20 years ago that we decided to start doing something on what we call generative coaching. So something designed specifically for coaches, and dealing with generative change, meaning, change where you're coaching people who are in these life situations where they have to, constantly either do something new or address something new. Because a lot of traditional coaching is about sort of improving what you're already doing, or you're, you're dealing with situations that other people have dealt with, and you're just trying to optimize or improve. Whereas in generative change, you've got, everything is new. There is no precedent. You've got nothing to look back on or rely on. So, you've got to make it up